Friend to movie stars and captains of industry, Robert L. Bobby Foehl was a natural-born hotelier who helped develop much of Scottsdale's cachet as a resort town after World War II. He ran the Jockocki Inn for several years, then opened and managed the Hotel Valley Ho, Scottsdale's premier year-round European-planned, car-friendly resort hotel. Although he and his wife Evelyn lived on the properties they managed, they didn't isolate themselves from their community. Foehl was a founder, member, or investor in numerous organizations and businesses, including the famous Lulabelle restaurant on Scottsdale's Main Street. Bobby was born in 1905 and raised in Kendallville, Indiana, the son of John and Mary Louise Foehl. He was grandson of hotelier Charles Badd, founder of the Los Angeles Biltmore Hotel. As soon as Bobby graduated from high school in the early 1920s, he set off for Los Angeles to work at his grandfather's 1,500-room property. Starting out as a dishwasher and storeroom clerk, he worked his way through many of the back-of-house jobs at the posh and popular hotel. In 1931, Bobby became assistant manager, then manager of the St. Catherine Hotel in Avalon on Catalina Island, popular summer resort. During the winter, he managed the El Mirador Hotel in Palm Springs. Despite the Great Depression, people traveled, and Foehl came in contact with a steady stream of prominent guests at both locations. For example, the stars of Amos and Andy broadcast their nationally popular Depression-era radio show from El Mirador's Tower Room. Foehl entered the Arizona resort industry in 1936 when he and a Cincinnati investor bought the San Marcos Hotel from A.J. Chandler. During the summer months, Bobby managed the famous North Shore Tavern Resort on California's Lake Arrowhead. In 1943, he put his hotel career on hold to serve as a civilian during World War II, managing overseas housing for military personnel in Ireland and France. Foehl returned to Phoenix after the war, sold his interest in the San Marcos, and with partners, who included Conrad Hilton, bought the Soboba Hot Springs Resort near Palm Springs. In the late 1940s, Bobby took over as manager of the Jockocki Inn, a Scottsdale area resort since 1926. While Bobby was managing director of Jockocki, he married Evelyn Eppins McConnell of Cleveland, Ohio, who was an accomplished figure skater, equestrian, and golfer, and no stranger to the hotel business herself. She had owned and operated the Hacienda del Sol Resort Hotel in Tucson in the 1940s and had traveled throughout the world, also making friends with celebrities and royalty. The newlyweds lived in the Jockocki Inn and entertained guests with a new brand of Southwestern style. Visiting entertainers from the Sombrero Playhouse stayed at the resort, which had developed a wealthy and loyal clientele over its decades of serving winter visitors. Legend has it that Bobby bought his bride the Old Saguaro Inn on Scottsdale's Main Street as a wedding present. They turned the former tavern into a C&B scene gay 90s themed restaurant and nightclub called the Lulabelle. Over the years, names like the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, John Wayne, Rudy Valley, Lee Marvin, and Ronald Reagan dined at the Lulabelle, and countless community groups held meetings there. Foehl sold his interest in the Jockocki Inn to another nationally famous hotelier, Charles Alberding of Alsonet Hotels in 1952, then took a position as vice president of the Westward Ho Hotel Company, working with hotel chain owner John Mills. They began to plan for a new concept hotel for Scottsdale that Foehl would manage. A cast of local officials broke ground for the new hotel on West Main Street at Taylor in February 1956. Ed Varney was selected as the architect, Sam Kitchell and Jim Phillips as the builders for the 100-room, $2 million hotel that would include a ballroom, restaurant, lounge, pool, and landscape grounds. Evelyn described the Valley Ho's founding mission in an interview with Arizona Living magazine in 1963, saying, "When I married Robert, he owned a resort hotel in the Scottsdale area. We noticed the trend changing, so we built the first European planned hotel in Scottsdale, the Valley Ho. We included the luxury and the warm feeling of a resort hotel, but people were free to seek their own entertainment, enjoy the many charming restaurants and clubs close by, and still feel that they were not in a commercial hotel. We expected stays to be shorter, but to our delight, people came for months, returning year after year. We found a personal call, made them feel welcome, issued guest cards to clubs, made restaurant reservations. These took the place of planned entertainment." Thanks in large part to the Foehl's wide range of friends and glamorous contacts, as well as their legendary graciousness and sense of style, the Valley Ho quickly became the social hub of Scottsdale. Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood were married there in the late 1950s. Jimmy Durante played the lobby piano during his stays. Baseball greats like Ted Williams and Leo DeRocha were guests, as were stars like Tony Curtis, Janet Leigh, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Marilyn Monroe, Bing Crosby, Betty Grable, James Cagney, Burt Lahr, Humphrey Bogart, and many more. Locals claim the Valley Ho as their very own hotspot, too. Barry Goldwater held campaign events there. Local fashion designers showed their talents at poolside fashion shows. Valley charitable events held their big galas in the ballroom. The Foehls considered Motorola executives and their families who needed a temporary place to stay as they were transferred to Scottsdale's new Motorola plant on McDowell Road to be one of the most important groups of guests during the first few years the hotel was open. Both Foehls were active in the community. Bobby was an incorporator and president of the Arizona Hotel Association. He was also a founding member of the Paradise Valley Country Club in 1953 and an early member of the Rotary Club of Scottsdale, the Paradise Valley Racquet Club, and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Posse. He served as a director of the Paradise Valley Water Company, the Central Investment Company, Carefree Properties, and the Scottsdale YMCA. In the late 1950s, Foehl joined his friends Katie Palmer and Tom Darlington as an original developer of the town Carefree. Evelyn was an active member of the Phoenix Symphony Guild. Bobby Foehl died at the age of 68 in 1973, the same year that Ramada acquired his beloved hotel and renamed it the Ramada Valley Ho. Although the property survived several decades of ever more luxurious resort openings, its status slipped from premium hotel to moderate property. In 2002, Ramada sold the historic hotel to Westrock Hotels and Resorts, which spent 3 years and $80 million restoring its architectural significance and bringing its guest rooms up to the luxuries and technologies expected by 21st century travelers. Bobby and Evelyn Foehl had no children. However, the legacy of their life's work remains in Scottsdale. In 2002, the Scottsdale Historic Preservation Commission designated the Hotel Valley Ho a historic property. Architectural books praise the Valley Ho as a premier example of mid-century modern tourism architecture. Recently renovated and reopened with great fanfare, the Hotel Valley Ho is as popular as ever, and in tribute to his stature as a king among 20th century hoteliers, the Hotel Valley Ho will place a bronze plaque featuring Foehl's likeness in a public place on the property he made famous and called home.